Hmm. Interesting. Is that pretty typical, Dr. Saunders, where a lot of people start to get diagnosed, or are we just diagnosing a lot more right now?
Well, they used to call it adult onset diabetes. When I was in medical school, there were two different kinds of diabetes. There was childhood onset diabetes and adult onset diabetes.
Hmm.
And so anybody who was diagnosed in adulthood was called adult onset. But then they started realizing that sometimes adults get type 1 diabetes where their pancreas quits making insulin. And so they changed it from type 1 to type 2. Because the other thing they found was that sometimes children are being diagnosed with type 2, adult onset diabetes. So it didn't make any sense to have these children with a diagnosis of adult onset diabetes and they're 5 years old. So they changed it to type 2. But yeah, it is being diagnosed more, but that's expected because there are something like 90 million people in the United States that have type 2 diabetes and don't know it. So, yeah, it's being diagnosed like crazy because there's so many people that have it.
Oh, okay. I want to try something here. I want to see, maybe captions are working. I just want to make sure that that is an option for you guys, and I don't know if it is or not. Okay, let me click this.
Donna says, Howdy from Texas. I was diagnosed type 2 in 2018, age 66. Um, and someone else said high fructose corn syrup. Another agree with high fructose corn syrup. We believe that's probably what they're thinking caused type 2 diabetes is the high fructose corn syrup consumption in
Wow.
food. Do you think that's a good likelihood, Dr. Saunders?
That is a good likelihood. In fact, it's been shown in several studies now that drinks, especially like sodas, but any drinks that have sugar in them, are so rapidly absorbed that the fructose goes directly into the liver and creates insulin resistance right away. So, yes, sodas especially, but there's an association with type 2. It's more than association, it's enough to say it's causation.
Hmm.
Wow. One quick thing I want to mention is that Dr. Saunders is awesome, right? He's a wonderful medical doctor, but he
Thank
is not
you.
your doctor. And so we just ask that you consult with your healthcare provider before you implement any of the things that we discuss here. So just want to throw that in there really quick. And this is recorded as well. We record all of our webinars on YouTube, so you'll be able to go back to this. There's going to be a lot of really good information shared today. Chad, our friend at Committed Coaches, is going to hop on and he's going to share as well. And he'll probably be here, I would say, in 20 minutes or so. But just some opportunities for us to maybe take some things to the next level and have some more accountability in your journey. And so many of you have learned so many wonderful things on this program, but if you decide that you want a little bit more help, there's going to be an option for that toward the end of this call. Okay. So, oh, we're getting lots of good feedback in here. I, I'm noticing this. I'm someone that has teens, and when I grew up, I saw somebody post about this today as well, but like when I grew up, ice cream or soda or candy bars were like, first of all, a treat.
Hmm.
Very seldom did we get them.
Hmm.
And I was even, I'm going to be really honest, I'm even thinking about my own children, and I'm like, we can't have that stuff. Had this discussion with my husband. We can't have this stuff in our house, but I don't have control over what they're eating at other people's house, and I don't have control over what they spend their money on when they're not with me. And it does seem to be like a natural thing nowadays where you have sugar every day, like is a very normal added sugar as a very normal thing, which is tough. And so it's just no wonder that we get ourselves into trouble this way. And so I just feel bad for us. I'm so thankful that Dr. Saunders is here, that we can have this type of learning. I think the more that we are aware of what this does to our body, the more that we're like, sometimes just the knowledge of the dangers of these kind of things helps us to make better decisions. I grew up often where people would say, no, don't do that. But there was no reason for it, which just made me want to do it even more. That was my personality. So if we don't learn, we don't make good choices. So I'm thankful that you're telling us about this stuff so that we can do our best and help others as well. It looks like our friend Joe has joined today. Hello, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Oh, he's on mute.
There you
Here
Yeah,
we go.
someone else said that she was diagnosed when she had a stroke, and she thinks it's because of pasta, potatoes, and desserts.
Mm.
The trifecta.
Sorry,
And,
getting
you
a bit of a
know,
downpour here in South Dakota, so that was fun. Trying to get home and yeah,
What happened, Joe?
a flood. Well, not really, just
Oh,
like a downpour of rain. So the road was quite sloppy. I live on gravel road, so yep, all
yeah.
good now. Here I am. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. At least those I can see. Good to be seen also.
Dr. Saunders, another really important thing that we sometimes forget about is stress. And you bring this up a lot. What type of an impact do you really feel like stress, prolonged stress, has on our blood sugar?
Oh, that's such a good question because if you look at the effect that stress has on your life in general, there is nothing there's not a single cell in your body that is not affected by stress. So when you stress something, if you take a stick and you stress it and you stress it more, it's going to break. Where is it going to break? Well, it's going to break wherever the weakness is. So if somebody has a weakness in terms of like diabetes, that's where it's going to break. If somebody has a weakness in terms of intestinal problems, that's where it's going to break. If someone has a weakness in terms of migraines or neurological problems, that's where it's going to break. So the effect of stress is highly variable. You can't say that, oh, stress causes diabetes. Well, and stress is a contributor, of course, but the effect, the contribution of stress is huge. It's like if you look at stress, it's 10 to your diet is 2, right? So your diet's important, but not compared to stress. I had somebody in this morning in my office, and I was scratching my head. I'm going, there's just something wrong. He's on a ketogenic diet. He's getting ketones. He's like doing phase 1 of the program. And he had done fasting and his numbers had come down nicely and everything was all set. And so then he's on the phase 1 of the program. And we did some tests, blood tests, and he complained. He called me and he said he's in pain. So we did some blood tests, and his sugar's up, his cholesterol is up, his uric acid is up, which is what causes gout, and because he was having a lot of joint pains and stuff. And I'm like, what the heck? What are you eating? And he goes, I swear I'm just doing the phase 1 of the program. I'm doing phase 1, just like I'm not having any sugars. I'm having some nuts, and so we looked at it and he was getting a little over 20 grams of carbs a day in all the nuts that he was eating. But it was still like, why are all these numbers going up? It shouldn't do that. It doesn't make any sense. He's not on any fructose at all. He's not getting any of that stuff. No sucrose, no added sugars, nothing with. He's making his own food. He's not eating at restaurants, all that stuff. And so we finally figured out that it was an adrenal problem, that his stress hormone levels were causing the blood sugar to go up, the hemoglobin A1C to go up, the insulin to go up, the uric acid to go up, the cholesterol to go up, and all these issues he's having because of stress.
Wow.
So it's big. Stress is big.
Yeah. I even think about, I just had a conversation with someone today too about how they're very stressed at work. And so there are definitely those impacts that happen because of stress, but also when you're stressed, you may not eat. And then you finally, at the end of the day, are not stressed. And then you binge eat. And so it's like a different effect that stress may have on you. Like it just can affect so many things. And maybe we need to revisit this in another webinar, but I would also love to hear from some of you in the chat. What do you do to de-stress? Do you feel like you have a good game plan for that, or some things that you know that really help you? Because I know we talk about stress a lot. The world talks about stress, but we don't talk about what to do about it. So maybe that's where we need to spend some more time also. What do you think, Dr. Saunders? What are you seeing works for people?
Oh, there are a lot of good programs to reduce stress. Meditation is wonderful. Prayer is important. I had one woman who said, as long as she reads the Bible every day, her anxiety levels go down and she feels okay, like she can get through the day, she gets that comfort. And if she doesn't, she starts getting panic attacks.
Mhm.
So there's lifestyle things you could do. Exercise is a great way to reduce stress, and especially something like HIIT, uh, high intensity interval training exercises, those kind of exercises. But yoga, Pilates, those work well too. And an amazing thing is, so the guy that I had today was doing so well. He did a long-term fast. He did like a 28-day fast, and he was drinking water. He had a lot to lose, of course. He had type 2, right? So it wasn't like just out of the blue. But he decided to do that, and all of his pain went away. All his blood sugar came back to normal. All of his numbers came back to normal. But he felt better, and his brain worked better, and all of that. And he had much less stress. And then as he started to eat again, his cortisol levels are going up, and he's starting to get more stress. Fasting is a great way to relieve stress. A lot of people don't think so, but it actually works really well. People are really surprised. Wow, I feel great. I haven't eaten in 3 days, and I feel great.
Oh boy, we have so many comments. Cheryl, where did you leave off? I don't even know. I did. Okay, I'm just going to read this comment that I did see because it was really funny. This is from David. My primary asked me if I was diabetic. I said, no, I'm Baptist.
Good answer.
I thought that was funny. Let's see. Okay, this is probably a good thing. I don't think we mentioned this, but Denise said foods attributed plus mother and her father had diabetes and brother currently has diabetes. So what are your thoughts about that? The genetic component.
Well, there's a lot of different genetic components. So if you have a tendency to make more insulin than normal, then you're very efficient with food and you will store it really well. And you can get type 2 diabetes very easily. So there are populations of people, the Pima Indians in Arizona, have an 80% diabetes rate. That means 8 out of 10 people in the tribe have diabetes. And so clearly there's a genetic component there. But then there's also the type 1 diabetes, where people tend to get autoimmune diseases that affect the pancreas, and they stop making insulin and get type 1 diabetes. And that can tend to run in families too, not so much, but it will tend to run in families.
Interesting. Okay.
One did make a good point. Don't forget that dietary customs are inherited.
Mhm.
I mean,
That's
you may
true
not
too.
get in your genes, but the habits.
Yes.
Yes, sure. Now, David says allulose saved my life. What would that mean?
Allulose is one of those sugars that is not a sugar. It is a sugar technically, but it's not used by the body as sugar. So it's a sweetener. And it saved his life because he could use it instead of sugar and not have the ill effects of sugar. So some artificial sweeteners, many of them that are used in cooking, for example, or used in coffee and all these non-nutritive sweeteners, they're calling them. actually cause insulin to be produced and cause more problems because they cause insulin resistance. Allulose is one of those that's kind of like it may not. It probably is among the better sweeteners in terms of not causing insulin resistance. It's actually less sweet than sugar, sucrose, as opposed to something like aspartame that's 300 times sweeter than sugar, right? So it's stimulating those sweet receptors more. Allulose is not. So that may be what saved his life, in that he could have sweets and not have an insulin response.
All right. Just seeing here. We have some people that are watching just preventatively. They don't want to get type 2. Many people do have type 2. Denise has had prediabetes for many years. Ruth has been diabetic for 30 years. KJ said, I did this to myself, and after 6 months on the program, my hemoglobin A1C is 5.1.
Wow, that's perfect. Good
Awesome.
work.
Don said, I'm 77, prediabetes 5.8, but no doc ever told me.
Here's someone said, I had a stressful dream while wearing my continuous glucose monitor, and it was higher than normal one night. Stupid dream. I almost had a panic attack, and I don't have panic attacks. So I think she's alluding to the fact that having a stressful dream caused her heart or her blood sugar to increase.
Well, it causes the cortisol to go up. Cortisol makes you insulin resistant, and then the blood sugar goes up. Yeah, it's crazy.
Did you ask about statins already, Cheryl?
No, but I was going to mention that.
Yeah, Donna had said, do you think statin meds contribute to type 2?
It's entirely possible. The thing that statins do is decrease the amount of energy that's available, because they limit your body's ability to make coenzyme Q10. And CoQ10 is essential for mitochondrial function. And so if you decrease the mitochondria, you have less energy, and that will cause you to be more likely to have energy problems with type 2. So indirectly, yes, statins can contribute to type 2.
Lily had asked, is it worthwhile to test cortisol since it changes so much throughout the day?
Yeah, that's always been a problem. So the way I test a morning cortisol kind of as a screening test. And if you test right around 8 o'clock in the morning, between like 7:30 and 8:30, somewhere in there, you're going to get the peak of your cortisol during the day. And if that peak is high, if it's over 20, then there's a stress, likely something stressful. If it's over 40, you clearly have a problem with your adrenal glands, and it may be adrenal tumors. I was commenting today with the patient that I had, who was having the stress or the adrenal issues, that I have seen more adrenal problems lately. The lipid nanoparticles in the RNA vaccines, like the COVID vaccine, like to congregate in the adrenal glands, and so they can cause inflammation in the adrenal glands from the COVID vaccine. And so we've been seeing, not just me, other doctors I've spoken to have been seeing much more of that lately.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. Let me just see here. Anonymous said, okay, so when you're soaking in red light sunshine therapy, is there an overriding benefit as to whether one chooses to be outdoors directly in the sun, or whether they allow the sun to shine through a glass door or window? Should a person with photosensitivity avoid this type of therapy? And if so, what is the alternative treatment for the benefit of the eyes?
Okay, photosensitivity is somebody who is sensitive to light, but through a window is the window reflects some of the light, but most of it gets through, and the wavelengths of white light that are let through are mostly the longer wavelengths because the shorter wavelengths are reflected and absorbed more. So the blue lights, the ultraviolet, violet, blue, those are more reflected, and the ones that come through tend to be the longer wavelengths, like the red lights, yellow, orange, red. So if you're indoors and the light's coming in and the light's hitting you, that still has benefits. Going outside still has benefits. And there's a lot of stress benefits have been shown walking in the woods. In fact, in Japan, they have these woods, mostly like, I remember seeing when it was a kind of a bamboo forest, that they put trails through. So people in the city can go there and walk through in the middle of the day and get their nature in, and then go back to the city and get to work. So that's actually really good for you. It's kind of like grounding, earthing, being part of nature, walking in a forest is really good for stress.
Some call it forest bathing.
Forest bathing. Yeah. Yeah. What a great idea.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love it. It works. I think they should call it ocean bathing, but you're not actually swimming. You're just enjoying the benefits of the ocean and the sand as well. That seems to be
Yes.
also relieving a lot of stress.
Agreed.
Yeah, my wife likes to actually go in the ocean,
Yes,
actually bathe and swim in the ocean.
Yeah.
I love this question from Donna. Do you support the diabetic reversal programs advertised heavily online?
The diabetes reversal programs. Okay, so the one with Barton Publishing is advertised pretty heavily, and you know what? You have to look at it in terms of why. Why is that needed? There is a need. People need to know this information. When they go to their doctors, they're not going to get this information. They're going to get different information. If they go, who knows where else, they're going to get different information. So one of the things that we did is to write it down and say, okay, these diabetes reversal programs, this actually works. And so having done it in my office for years, we put a book together, and we need to let people know that this is available. And the reason for pushing it is because if people will just pick it up and read it and go, oh, wow, this can work. Or if they can come onto our program or whatever. So the heavy advertising is letting people know it's available, because otherwise their doctor's not going to refer them to us to reverse their diabetes, right? So how are people going to know if nobody goes out there and spends money on advertising?
Mhm. Okay. Anonymous said, actually, you know what? If you guys have questions, will you post those in the Q&A? That'd be really helpful. Anonymous says, I purchased a bag of organic frozen berries because I trust them more than the organic fresh berries in the store. However, I'm sensitive to eating very cold products. Any suggestions as to how I can enjoy these fruits without discomfort?
I know, right? If your teeth hurt from crunching on ice, then yeah, having those cold fruits. I don't know if you're really sensitive to the cold. One of the things, like, I can't chew I like frozen fruit as well, especially mango. But if I put it in a smoothie, I can drink it easier than I can chew it, because then it's not like hurting my teeth. Otherwise, wait till it thaws out. So, like, if you put it in yogurt or something and stir it around and wait a few minutes, it'll all soften up and it'll all be part of in your yogurt, and then they're really good. So, yeah, if you put it in something, it makes it a little better.
There are people that eat warm fruit too, so that is an option.
Yeah, warm frozen fruit that's thawed out. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like put it in.
Oh yeah, yeah,
But my son likes frozen grapes. So yeah,
mine
when
too.
we get grapes, he'll put a whole bunch of them in the freezer, let them freeze, and then he'll just eat them frozen. He likes that.
Yeah, for a while my kids would do lemon juice on top of that on the grapes and then freeze them so then they're like sour grapes. That was a fun
Uh,
little treat for them. Yeah. Okay. I saw this comment come through from David. David said, I had to decide what is more important, living an educated, disciplined life regarding the foods I eat, or dying a slow, painful, dementia life, including sugar and white flour. Mic drop.
yes, the decisions that we make, the sacrifices that we make, you have to ask, what do you want in the end? My father-in-law was diagnosed with diabetes about 10 years ago. And I said, okay, Dad, you're gonna have to give up your sodas. He drinks a 6-pack of Dr. Pepper a day, so you're gonna have to give that up. He looks at me and thinks about it for a second. He goes, "There are worse things than death."
Yeah. You do have to make those decisions. You really
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Okay, another question here from Anonymous. What does Dr. Saunders recommend for staving off age-related enlargement of the prostate? I already take saw palmetto.
Okay. Um, so enlargement of the prostate isn't just age. There's a lot of factors that enter into that. The prostate enlarges because sometimes there's a lack of zinc. And it's very common for men to have low zinc. Zinc is needed for the enzymes that convert the hormone into testosterone. And so if you lack zinc, the prostate tends to enlarge more. So, um, number one, get enough zinc. Saw palmetto is something that actually does work to shrink the prostate. There's something called pygeum also, that's an herb that can shrink the prostate. And those are the chemical things. The other thing is it may be, I was doing some research on this for somebody else. It may be that the more frequently you have sex, the more likely you are to have an enlarged prostate too. So even that could be an issue. So something to think about.
Wow, interesting. Okay. Uh, Oops, I already asked that one. Let's see. Lily said, is coenzyme Q10 fat soluble?
CoQ10, yes, is fat soluble.
Jacob says, what are your thoughts on relight therapy?
Relight therapy?
I think red light. He also put
Red.
that.
Oh, that was
that.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, red light.
Yeah. Okay. So I wrote an article on red light therapy. It's a thing. It's real. The red light actually does get through your skin, into your muscles, into your tissues, turns on genes, turns on mitochondria, starts energy being produced. Going out in the sun is a great idea. Sunbathing for 10 or 20 minutes a day or several times a week or however often you do that. This does stimulate the mitochondria to make more energy. So red light therapy is a real thing. They've done studies on people where wounds don't heal, like they have poor circulation in their ankles and they've got these open wounds, and they start red light therapy and the wounds heal because it turns on the mitochondria and starts things moving again. It's real. They've been doing studies, some exciting studies on the brain where you can turn on the brain with red light therapy. And so they have these like skull caps that have intense red LEDs in them, and you put them over, and this red light goes through the skull and gets into certain depth. It's only a couple of centimeters into the brain, and is turning on randomly, turning on the energy sources of the brain. But they have seen noticeable improvement in people who have like brain fog and memory problems and stuff like that. So it's a thing.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to read something here from Judy. I was told I was diabetic and might well accept it as she was, doctor, waving her hand in front of my face. However, no one could explain what diabetes was. I paid $150 to learn about diabetes. I didn't know any more after I went through the class than before. Stumbled onto Dr. Saunders online and liked what he was saying. So I bought the Solution magazine, lost 80 pounds, A1C from 8.2 to 5.7, went down in dress size from 2XL to 3XL to size 16, loving it and feeling great, thanking the Lord and Dr. Saunders and the team. I still listen to seminars and learn so much.
Wow, good for
Great.
you. Well, I didn't do the work, you did the work, but yeah, the information's important. So yeah, that answers the question. That other question is do you agree with the advertising of these diabetes solution online? Heck yeah, because you got to know. People need this information.
All right. Okay. Anything
Yesterday,
else?
someone asked a question about can diabetes become autoimmune?
Um, uh, it autoimmunity can happen anytime, for whatever reason. We don't always know the reason. There's usually some kind of inciting event, like a virus or something, but we don't always know. So you could have type 2 diabetes, and then you can get autoimmunity against your pancreas and create type 1 diabetes. So you can go from type 2 to type 1. I've seen it. It happens.
Interesting. Okay. And are you finding that type 1 is more like hereditary?
Um, Type 1, well, type 1 is often seen in children. It's probably more like a virus or something that affects the pancreas, something infects the pancreas. So I'm not sure if that's more genetic or more infectious or autoimmune.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. All right. Anonymous said, following this program, should I still take the diabetic meds and insulin? Two types plus Ozempic.
Okay. Everything you do, look at what the risks and the benefits are and say, is this risky? What's more risky? So if you look at like the diabetes solution kit and you say, okay, I'm going to go off sugars so that I can use up the sugar in my cells and I can become more sensitive to insulin again. And so that I can have insulin sensitivity, my blood sugar is going to be normal, and I'm not going to get liver disease and Alzheimer's disease and kidney disease and all that other stuff. So what's the downside? Well, the downside is I have to make some sacrifices of everything I love to eat, like ice cream and cookies and candy and cake. So that sacrifice, am I willing to make that sacrifice? And so you do that. As opposed to what's the other option? Well, I can keep doing everything I like, and then I'll take medications to alleviate the symptoms. So lower the blood sugar, allow me to have lower blood pressure, sleep better, fix the cholesterol. So I'll just be on medication. Now, there's risk to the medications too, like Ozempic makes you more insulin resistant. So, and you go off Ozempic and you gain all the weight back plus average of 4 pounds. And so does that make it worthwhile? Well, the doctor says you start Ozempic and you're on it for life. There is you can never get off it, because if you do, you'll go back and you're worse off because now you have more insulin resistance than you had before. So yeah, that's something to look at. And then the medications, many of the medications for diabetes cause you to release more insulin, which makes you more insulin resistant. So that might be counterproductive if you want to be insulin sensitive. So metformin being the one that doesn't, but then metformin doesn't allow you to build muscle because it blocks the energy supply to the muscle. So it's not a simple question of should I take it or not. It's what path do I want to go down, and consider it a path that once you head down that path, then you're going in a direction. And then do I want the end result? What's the where does that path end up? And then looking at that. So from my point of view, the medications would be not worthwhile. I wouldn't want them because I would want to be on a path where I could be healthy and independent, and I'm willing to give up the things I like to eat in order to do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been good. We told you at the beginning we were having a special guest hop on, and he's here. So we're excited about that. Our friend Chad is here. Chad, actually, you know what? I'm going to read a little information about him because I don't want to get any of this wrong. But Chad created the world's very first online health coaching program more than 30 years ago. So he's like 35 now. And he did this back in the olden days of 1995. So since then, he and his coaching team have worked with more than 100,000 clients from around the world and all sorts of health challenges and obstacles. And he's really shown them a proven system that is tailored to each unique individual with all of the expert guidance, personal support, and accountability that they need to reach their personal goals. And so, Dr. Saunders on these webinars has talked so many times about there's not one way to do things, right? We talk a lot about our program, and we found that this is a really good opportunity to give you just a little bit more individualized help if you're ready to take it to that next level. And so we wanted Chad to hop on and share some of this. I've been working with Chad and his team for about a year now and have loved what they're doing. They're helping a lot of people. And so I'm going to turn this over to Chad and let him kind of share what they do, and you guys can decide if this is something of interest to you. All right, take it away, Chad.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Saunders and Leslie. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it. It's always an honor and privilege to really speak with people that are serious about making a change, improving their health, and not only adding years to life, but good quality life through years. But the unfortunate reality is more than 98% of people out there that are trying to improve their health or reach their personal health goals don't succeed. And I think it's really for two reasons. The first is most diet, nutrition, and health plans are way too difficult and time consuming and just not enjoyable. So they're not sustainable long term. I always make this point to my clients that you are not the problem. It's not your fault that you haven't been able to improve your health, lose weight, get your blood sugar under control. It's the diet, weight loss industry, and the healthcare system in general that has really set you up to fail from the very beginning because it's way too complicated and difficult and just not sustainable long term. And I probably don't have to convince you of that, right? Most people have enough evidence if you've tried in the past. But what most people don't realize is all the effort and the sacrifice and restricting calories and slaving away the treadmill can often do more harm than good because it's forcing your body to hold on to fat in fear of starvation, which is a pretty big stress on the body, increasing your fat storing hormone, cortisol, and then eventually you can be consuming your own muscle for survival. So all that effort and sacrifice and trying to rely on willpower can actually do more harm than good. And this is why so many people might make some progress at the beginning, but eventually, once they give up this miserable diet, gain the weight back, go back to their old ways, and typically gain even more back. But we like to really show people how to do the exact opposite. Instead of focusing on just effort and sacrifice and relying on willpower, something that isn't sustainable long term, actually using real science and strategy to get your body in alignment, to really working with you instead of fighting against you. And that's what we like to show people how to do. And the reason why we've had thousands of success stories who have reached their goal weight, body, health, and not just in the short term, but the long term is really, I believe, threefold. First, we give them a real proven system based on real science and strategy that I've really refined and perfected over the last 30 years that I've been doing this with over 100,000 people that always works as long as you follow it consistently. And how we make sure that you follow it consistently is we give you this proven system that's really right for you and set you up for success so that it's simple, convenient, and actually enjoyable, something that's sustainable long term. So first, you have a system that we really like to guide you through. Second, we put that system into a way that sets you up for success based on the foods that you love, your busy schedule, your lifestyle, any health issues you have, whatever challenges are in your way. We're trying to mitigate, reduce the friction or the challenges so that it becomes simple and just not this rigid diet that you're trying to shove in your lifestyle, but just this new and improved way of eating and living. Again, all based on science and strategy. And the third thing, and I think this is the most important and what a lot of people are really missing, is unlimited guidance, support, and accountability from your very own coach via email, phone, text message, Zoom video calls, someone in your corner who's really there for you every single step of the way, your teammate, and really solving this once and for all so that you can look and feel amazing and just live your best life. And as Leslie mentioned, we have a pretty amazing opportunity for those that are really serious and making a change to totally transform their body and health with our expert guidance and support. So we want to invest our time and focus and resources in really working closely with those that are really ready to make a change because with your success, we want to go on and inspire others to change their life too. With all the different weight loss and health and nutrition companies out there that either don't work or aren't living up to their claims. We want to really inspire people with something that really does work, a coach in your corner that's going to guide you and support you and hold you accountable and really be your teammate in solving this once and for all. When other people can see someone that's maybe had a challenge in improving their health for a long time, they can see that you're able to do it with the support of a coach. I think we can inspire them too and influence a lot of important people in your life, maybe your family, friends, coworkers, and so on. So if you're really serious about transforming your health and living your best life, we got a pretty awesome opportunity for you where we want to give you a custom plan that's really right for you. And then unlimited personal coaching, like as much as you need, again, via email, phone, text message, Zoom video calls, so that you have a coach in your corner that sincerely cares about you, is going to take you by the hand and guide you every step of the way. And as a Barton customer, we want to give you a $300 credit to actually apply to that coaching program as well. And we always offer a guarantee that you will absolutely be thrilled with our coaching and most importantly with your results. We guarantee it. That's how confident we are in our coaching and how committed we are to your success. So in exchange for giving you a custom plan and unlimited coaching and a drastic discount and a $300 credit with our guarantee, we really just ask for two things. First is that you're just coachable. That's it. You don't have to be perfect on this plan, just coachable. And the second thing is if when we do get you to your goal, we just ask that we either give us a testimonial or a review, something that we can inspire other people to take action to. And we believe this is a perfect win-win arrangement because you get amazing results, really improving your health, adding years to your life, good quality life to your years, and we get to use your amazing success to then inspire other people to take action too. So what's really great about this opportunity is we're like in perfect alignment, working closely together as a team to get you to your goal, to improve your health, and just have you looking and feeling your very best. And when you're committed to following a proven system that's really right for you, and we're committed to guiding you every step of the way, and we will be, your success is a done deal. And that's why we're so confident in offering our guarantee that you will be thrilled with your results and just love the coaching experience. So, if you'd like to take advantage of this win-win opportunity, I would love to put a link in the chat where you can just click on it and schedule a call. I'll go ahead and do that right here. And let's see, where is the chat? There it is. Let's see if I can send it to everyone. There we go. So that is the link. You can just click that link. Because there's so many people on this call and because these calls are in pretty high demand, it might take a little bit to load, but in a moment, they'll show a variety of times, and you can just schedule whatever time works best for you and schedule with one of our coaches, and we'll call you at the exact time that you schedule and really just take some time to be 100% focused on you and learn more about what you want to achieve, why you want to make a change, any obstacles in your way. And then we can map out exactly how we can get you to your goal together as a team. And after doing this online for 3 decades with more than 100,000 people, I can assure you this is the missing link. And it's the reason why so many people, I think, are struggling because they don't have this. There's a lot of good information out there. But when you have an expert who's really there for you as much as you need with a plan that's really right for you and showing you the skill of how to combine the right foods at the right times, the right amounts, it it's your success is a done deal. Again, as long as you just stay coachable. And I think if you can think back to when you were a kid and you wanted to ride a bike or learn how to play basketball or karate or the piano or math or whatever, you had a coach or you had a teacher, right? You learned how to do that skill, but I don't think there's right now, most people don't have someone that's actually teaching you how to do that. A lot of good information out there, but when you have a plan, a step-by-step plan that's really right for you, that's customized to you, and then a coach that's answering the questions that you have, lifting you up when you're feeling down, getting you back on track if you stray. Again, you don't need to be perfect on this plan. There's going to be times when you stray from the plan, and that's totally okay. We learn from mistakes, we put the past behind us and get right back on track together as a team. And when we do that, we're constantly taking 2 and 3 steps forward together as a team. And maybe once in a while, we'll take a half step back, and that's totally okay because we're going to keep a good open line of communication and get you right back on track and actually be better for it in the future because we've taken that opportunity to learn from it. That's why I believe coaching is such the key to really getting to your goal. And I think we can probably all agree your nutrition affects every area of your life, your health, your energy, strength, endurance, your risk of injury, illness, disease, moods, mental clarity, longevity, quality of life, all those things. And I think we can probably also agree that it affects you physically, emotionally, socially, psychologically, financially, and all those things. But no one is really teaching you this skill with someone in your corner that's available to you as much as you need, 7 days a week via email, phone, text messages, and video calls until now. Right now, with this win-win opportunity, we can guide you every step of the way and really have you looking and feeling your very best and living your best life. So if this is of interest, we would love the opportunity to speak with you and again, just learn more about you and just map out how we can get you to your goal together as a team. So hopefully that all makes sense. It's encouraging, and we would love the opportunity. It'd be an honor and privilege to work with anyone that's really ready to make that change.
Yay. Thank you so much, Chad, for being here and sharing that. A couple of things. I think Jacob is actually already a part of Committed Coaches. He's working with a coach. Jacob, I sent you a message, but is your coach Drew? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's so fun. We love Drew. So yeah, so he's already gotten to take advantage of that. I love that. There's some other people, Dr. Saunders, even your comment here is such a good reminder too. He said, I found the same thing with my patients. It's so much better to have a coach and not rely on your friends and family. They often don't push your success. And Rayanne said the same thing too. She said, getting a coach is the difference. I talked with someone the other day who is a CEO of a big company, and she said, Carl, I pay for people to be my personal trainer. I pay for people to oversee my business and tell me what to do. She's like, why have I not done this for my health? That doesn't even make sense. That's like the most important thing. And so uh, I love this. Even though you've been doing this for 30 years, Chad, I wish we would have known about it 25 years ago. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
it's out there now and we're able to present this to all of our friends here who are on the webinar. So we appreciate it. Any
Wow.
questions or
Appreciate
anything,
it.
guys?
I have a question. Does the coach know what your individual program is because you have tests? You test for the specific individual and say, okay, so you're going to need this as opposed to like somebody else. You don't have just one program, one size fits all kind of thing.
Yeah, super good question. Yeah, we definitely don't. We want to set people up for success. We know the information that works, And we know the step-by-step process of exactly how to get people to their goals. So now what we need to do is just find out more about each individual client, the foods that they love, not those that they don't, their busy schedule, their health issues, any different challenges that they have in their life, as well as any particular tests that they want to take. Like the more information that we can take, and when a new client comes on, we have them fill out an entire client intake form about all their favorite foods, health issues, if they're like dairy-free or gluten-free or pre-diabetic or whatever it is. We want to get as much information as we can and then come up with a plan that's really right for them. And then, most importantly, be their support system, be their teammate to just guide them through it. Because a lot of times it can feel a little overwhelming at the beginning. It's a lot to take on. Change isn't easy. But when you have someone that sincerely cares about you and that is really excited about it being your teammate and really solving this once and for all, that's what I mean by like when you show up just committed and coachable, and your coach shows up committed to you as well, and you're both working closely together as a team, that's when the magic happens. And it's just an honor and privilege to help people that are really ready to make a change.
Um, I know that our time's almost up here, but I was going to mention too, one thing that I love about committed coaches. So I get to talk with a lot of people when they're at the end of their coaching journey. So I get to find out a lot of information. But one thing that I think is special, we have a lot of people that come to this webinar because they appreciate the community, and you get that with committed coaches as well. So not everybody loves that, so don't feel like you have to do that, all of those things. But there are other people who are going through similar things, and you can be a part of that as much or as little as you want as well. But it's another place where there's community, and I think that, as you guys were mentioning, even in the chat, we sometimes want that with our family and friends, but that's not always an option. And so there is a really beautiful thing that happens there as well that they've done really well, and you can be a part of that too.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You not only have the guidance, support, and accountability from your coach, but other people that are going through the same journey as you, because we host weekly, Zoom calls like this where we're just celebrating wins, learning from mistakes, looking at upcoming challenges, such as maybe a 4th of July barbecue or something, and just guiding people through that. And it's a real honor and privilege to help people, but also a really fun thing to see other people who are going on this same journey, encouraging others and rooting people on and supporting them when they're having challenges, getting them back on track if they've strayed and so on. And so it's a real amazing family of just people that are just like all in and just improving their health and living their best life.
Yeah. We did have a question, how much does it cost and how do you sign up? And really that probably can't be, I should let you answer. I'll let you answer that, Chad.
Yeah, I will put the link in there once again, just so it's handy right there at the top. As far as the cost, because everyone's so different with various different goals and challenges, some might just need 3 months to reach their goal. Others might need 6 months or even a year. The prices vary, and we'll go over that with you on the scheduled call. And once we get to know you more and your goals. But again, per this win-win opportunity, we're going to give you a drastic discount plus a $300 credit for being a valued Barton customer. And we'll give you our guarantee and do whatever it takes to get you to your goal. And the reality is, the cost and consequences of not improving your health are always more expensive than the solution. And that's at the normal price before the discount or $300 credit. And not only the cost and consequences financially with all the medication, ongoing health care, insurance and copays, diets and other so-called solutions that don't really work. There's also the physical costs of carrying around extra weight everywhere you go and how that affects your energy, your endurance, your mobility. There's social cost, right, of not being able to do the things that you really love with the people you care about. For a lot of people, there's mental, emotional, and psychological costs of having to think about your weight or worrying about your health or what health issues might be around the corner if you're not making the change. And our coaching clients not only save so much time, money, frustration, health issues that totally change their life in the various um, often go on to really influence other people's lives too with the changes they're making. So I truly believe there's no better investment for you, for your family, to improve your health, add years to your life, good quality of life to your years, to be the best version of you for your family that you love and care so much. So yeah, hopefully that
Awesome.
all makes sense. But yeah, when you click that link to schedule a call with your coach, we'll go over all of it with you.
One more question. Mary had asked, are the coaches knowledgeable about diabetes? Most of the people on this webinar are thinking about type 2 diabetes at least. So just curious about that.
Yeah. All of our coaches have at least a 4-year degree in exercise science, health, nutrition, and or a certified personal trainer, health coach, um, weight loss expert, a variety of different certifications. But we do have some coaches on the team that are certified as a diabetes specialist. So yeah, and if you do have diabetes or pre-diabetes, if that's one of your health issues, we would match you to that coach.
Jacob says definitely worth it. He's already going through the program.
Love
So
it. Love it.
I'm going to ask this random question because we had a few people on the webinar. Oh, Joe sent me a message. A few people on the webinar asked this, and actually, you're the perfect person for us to ask this to. Talk to us about creatine.
Mm. Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Yeah, so creatine is a supplement that can help preserve or increase strength as of course you want to not just take creatine and just hope that it does magic, but actually support you in adding lean muscle to your body. This is so important. A lot of people who are trying to improve their health or lose weight are just focusing on cardiovascular exercise or walking or getting more active. And that's so important, really, really important. But so too is resistance training, because one of the best ways that you can improve your metabolism, and just for those that don't know, metabolism quite literally means your body's natural ability to burn fat at rest. Even while you're eating, relaxing, even while you're sleeping, your body has the ability to use fat or food as energy rather than store it as fat. And one of the best ways to improve your metabolism is just to add lean muscle to your body so that it can constantly use food as energy rather than store it as fat. And so creatine can really be helpful as you're doing resistance training. I'm not talking about getting big and bulky. I'm just talking about different types of resistance training exercises. And that could be resistance bands or dumbbells or body weight, even isometric exercises like planks or wall sits. Even swimming has resistance, right? That's going to condition your muscles to be stronger, better conditioned to improve your metabolism and greatly reduce the risk of injuries, falls, and those type of things as we get older. And creatine is a supplement that helps with muscle repair, giving your muscles and the tissues that you need. So when you're doing resistance training, that is excellent, really, really important. But so too, and equally important, is the rest and recuperation so that your muscles can rebuild, get stronger, more firm, more tone, and again, improve your metabolism. So we don't want to just do resistance training and not allow your body to rest, repair, and have the nutrients that it needs. We also want to give our body the nutrients that it needs. And creatine is an important nutrient that can help with that muscle repair. It's called micro trauma. Sounds bad, but it's tiny. It sounds bad, but it's good. It's tiny little tears in your muscles. And then when you rest and recuperate, those muscles get stronger and condition again your metabolism as well. And that creatine can help give your muscles the nutrients they need. So hopefully that answers your question.
Does he remind you a little bit of Dr. Saunders? And when you ask him a question, it's like, how is
Yeah.
he not reading that? It sounds
Yeah.
like he's reading that. He knows all of that in his brain. It's shocking. What about the kinds of creatine? I think that was the question we had.
Nice.
Monohydrate, or is that what it's called? Monohydrate? Did I just
Yeah,
make that up?
yeah. There's a couple different types. I would suggest for those people on the call, there's different types, some more for like competitive bodybuilders and powerlifters and stuff. I
Okay.
would suggest like creatine monohydrate, which is just the best for everyday person, you and I, that
Okay.
are just trying to, improve their metabolism, increase their strength and muscle tone and stuff like that. So yeah, creatine monohydrate would be a good
Okay.
one.
And this is, I feel like, is just also a taste of some of the coaching because Chad actually does Zoom coachings as well that are available to all of the clients. In fact, I talked with someone today who said, "Oh my gosh, I did this coaching, or I hopped on one of Chad's calls, and I think it was yours. And I learned about these salad dressings that don't have sugar in them. And then I found out about all these protein sources that I didn't even know about." And so he's always teaching as well. And I just love that about Chad. Joe sent me a note. Joe, Barton, you guys on the webinar know Joe, of course. But he said he had to hop off video, but he's been friends with Chad for over 12 years and can vouch for his coaching program and his character as an amazing human being. And he also
Oh,
said Chad has literally built the best coaching program in the world. We stand behind it 100%, and Dr. Saunders does as well. So
amazing. Thank you
there you
so much.
go.
Really appreciate that. I just got chills. That means a lot. Thank you.
Oh, well, I'll send that to you so you can read it again later. You can add that too.
Yeah, I like that.
Good things you read. Okay. Also, Jacob, who's in the program, he also said, just a quick note from him, value, how much would you pay to get off meds? Gotta, oh, he said gotta go. But thank you, Chad and Dr. Saunders as well. So good
Yeah.
reminders. If you have more questions, obviously, I think you can schedule a call look at that link, schedule a call with one of the uh, coaches, and they'll figure out if, you know, all the different options for you. But anything else? What else do we need to say? Joe says, love you, Chad.
Oh, love you, Joe.
That's awesome. Anything else that we need to do? Anything else, Chad?
I don't think so. I would just say that for those people that might be feeling discouraged or that they're destined to be overweight or destined to be on medications or stuff, it's only because you haven't either had the right information or more importantly, maybe you've had some good information, but not put into a step-by-step plan that's really right for you to set you up for success, to make it simple, convenient, and enjoyable, and therefore sustainable. And someone, an expert in your corner, that's going to be your teammate and really helping you solve this once and for all. And when you have those things, the right information put into a plan that's right for you, and then a coach that sincerely cares about you, that's all in on your success, as long as you're coachable, it's a done deal. So if you feel the fear, worry, self-doubt creep in, I'm telling you, we've worked with over 100,000 clients with all sorts of really challenging health issues and stuff. And we can guide you past, we've seen it all. We can guide you past it. As long as you stay coachable, you can do fantastic.
Love it. Okay. I'm going to share this here on YouTube, the link as well, because I forgot to do that. So if you're watching on YouTube, hello everyone. There's the link. Sorry for my delay on that. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you so much, Chad. We so appreciate it. We might have to have you back again, but
I would love,
yeah, I think that's it.
sounds great.
All
Thanks.
right.
I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you next week. Tell a friend. Bye-bye.